Okay, so what I want to do now, I want to spend a little bit more time in the main menu. So I'm going to go over to the top left to our three lines again so I can click on the main menu. So click on those three lines, top left, get my main menu, and I'm going to go to neighbors. We're going to spend some time in the neighbors section because there's some cool things in the neighbors section. And we're going to start at the top and then we'll break it all down. So here at the top, this is what I've named my neighborhood. So you can name your neighborhood whatever you want to call it. This is what I've named my neighborhood. And then if we go all the way over to the top right, we got a little gear there. Remember, gears always signify settings. So we're going to go all the way over to the right, still at the top, and we're going to click on the gear and go to settings. And then we're going to talk about a few things here. So invite friends. We talked about that earlier, where you can invite friends to your neighborhood and create your own group of neighbors that you guys want to monitor each other's houses or things like that. Your post, if you want to just see your post, this section right here will just list your post because you can make posts in the neighborhood section. New features, so like I said, Ring is always developing, always doing new things. So the new features that come with each update, you can see that right here on the new features. Then down below that, this is your address, so where you currently are, that's your address. Your neighborhood name, we talked about that, what you want to name your neighborhood. All right, let's look at next, customize neighbors. So we're going to spend some time on this section, so let's click on that. And in here, this is where your neighborhood preferences are, so what you see in your feed. So like safety, crime, lost pet, unexpected activity, neighborly movement, request for assistance. These are all the things you're going to see in your feed. So any kind of post on all of these items, you're going to see them in your feed. And then you can go through and you can customize this as you would like to customize it. You can go through and choose what you want to see in this particular section. So let's just say I want to take something off and I don't want to see something such as neighborly movement. Let's say I don't want to see that. I can uncheck that and then I won't see that in my news feed. And then if I want to bring it back, I would just check it again and then that just brings it back. So this is how you would customize what you see in your news feed by turning things on and off. Again, if I don't want to see something, I'm just going to uncheck it. And then when I want to bring it back, I'm just going to check it again. So again, these are just things that you're going to see in your news feed or not see in your news feed. Let's keep scrolling down. Let's go back. I can also customize my neighborhood area. So if I click on that, this is a radius around my house. My house is in the middle, but I can go in here and I can go out as far as 5 miles, or I can shrink it. So if you go all the way to the bottom, see the little scroller right there? I can just move that around. If I just move it down, I'm actually scrolling in. And if I move it out, I can scroll out and increase that area up to 5 miles. All right. Now I can also click on these little dots in here and I can change and move around what areas I want to include in my monitoring area. So if I want to go out here and change some things, if I want to really tighten it up, I can pull these little dots around and I can get them exactly how I want. So if I want it to be like tighter around my house, I could do something like this. If I wanted to go out further, I could just pull them out. If I wanted it in a square, I could just make a square. So you can do all these things where you can go in and you can tweak what you want to monitor as far as the area you want to monitor around your house. Your house is in the center, and then you can tweak and change this and customize it the way you want to customize it. Now, I'm not going to save that. I'm just going to go out and say don't save. If I go back in, it's back to where it was before. All right. So you can customize this to exactly how you want it. Maybe you just want to monitor on your street. You could do that. Maybe you want to monitor just around your block. You could do that. So you can definitely alter this and just monitor what you want to monitor. All right. Then your alert settings, if I click there, I can always have my alerts on. So if I get some kind of neighborhood alerts, things like that, I can see those always. Maybe I want to see them just during a certain time period, so I can put it on and just do a certain time period. Notification types, comments on posts. So if I make a post and I want to get notifications from the comments on my post, I'm going to have that. Safety reports, so any safety things, I want to see that. I'm going to get notifications for that. And any public safety posts, so if there's like a fire or something in the neighborhood, you would see that under the public safety things. So these are other notification types that you can get for that. And then I've got my notification distance, all posts. If I pull this back, I can just do notifications within a certain radius. So if I want to do 0.75 miles, or maybe I want to do a half mile around my house, I can do that. But I'm going to go all posts, see what's going on in my entire neighborhood area. So now I'm going to go back. So I'm just clicking the arrow in the top left, and your feed or post settings. So you can go in here and your feed timeline. How long do you want that last? How old do you want your post to last? And I'm not talking about your post, but in your feed, the things that people post. So if I click on that feed timeline, I can see things that are 60 days old. If I only want to see things that are, let's say, 7 days old, I would click it on 7. If I only want to see things within a 24-hour period, I would click on the 24. So this is the time frame that you can choose to view incidents in your feed. So you can click on whatever time frame that you want there.
Content source. Let's spend a couple of seconds on that. And what this is going to show when you post something from your cams, it's going to show the name of the camera that you're posting from. So if you have this selected, it's just going to show the name of the camera you're posting from. If you don't want to show the name of that camera, you would just uncheck this. Okay, so let's go ahead and back all the way out. So we're going to do our arrows at the top left, back out, back out. I'm not going to save any of this. Back all the way out to the menu.
And again, that was in customize neighbors. And then you have your help, neighborhood guidelines, and privacy policy. So this is under the settings for the neighborhood. I'm going to go back to the main screen just for neighbors. So I'm going to click on the arrow top left again. All right, so we're back in the main dashboard for neighbors, and we're just going to keep breaking it all down, okay? So let's look at these little boxes here, because this is actually some really cool information right here, and I love this part of actually the neighborhood section. So where it says better neighborhoods, we're going to start right there, so I'm just going to click there. And what this talks about, it gives you like resources and things. This is things that are going on in the neighborhood, things you can get involved with. So you can see I've got American Red Cross. They got maybe a blood drive and some donations. You got Habitat for Humanities here. They've got some information how to get involved with them. So these are all things to make neighborhoods better in here, which is, I love this. I really love this a lot. So different resources and places that if you want to get involved with to make neighborhoods better. Let's go back. So we're going to click on the arrow top left again. And then this next one here is community resources. Again, a lot of cool information that you could use. They got Department of Health, mental health. Oh my God, you guys know I'm a big fan of mental health. So they have all types of mental health hotlines there. They got the mental illness, National Alliance on Mental Illness Helpline, the crisis hotline. So they have the National Domestic Violence Hotline, Victim Connect. So all these hotlines here that you can just have access to and go to immediately. I just love this as a resource for people to just have quick access to things like this. Is pretty cool. And then if you just click on one, so if I do like this is the Alliance, it just takes you right there so you can get information. There's phone numbers there. So this was the Alliance for Mental Health. And then I'm just going to go back. So these are all resources that you can use. This is pretty awesome. I really love this section right here. So I'm going to go back and I'm going to use, again, the arrow in the top left. If I scroll over, right now we're in the time of COVID. So we've got some COVID resources and things right there. The incident map, different incidents that happen. You can click on that and you can see within your area all these incidents, and you can just click on them. So like lost pet right here, I can click on that and then you can see what it is. Unexpected activity, I'll click on this one. Wait, I gotta close that one. And then with the ones that are linked to cameras, you can see the footage from what was going on in the camera, so you can see that. And then I'm just going to slide the whole thing down with my finger to go out of it. All right, so that's the incident map. So I'm going to go back. And then you can look at the safety report. And it'll give you the safety in your neighborhood, what's going on in your neighborhood. So different things that are going on in your neighborhood. And then again, you can invite neighbors over here. That's the last one. So a lot of great resources and information here in this top little bar. I love that. And then this is your feed. So just like we saw the filters before, how we can set up what we want to see, like the lost pets and all that kind of stuff. You also can click on quick filters, and you can filter from here as well. So if you just want to turn off or turn on things, if you're going back and forth between turning things on and off, you can do that right here in these quick filters. So you don't have to go all the way to settings and do it. You can just do it right here in the quick filters. So I'm just in the next row down from the boxes over to the right, quick filters right here. And this is my feed. Underneath that, these are all the things in my feed. So each post, you'll see it'll have the post, and the post, this is from a neighbor, so somebody in my neighborhood circle. And then if I go over to the little dots right to the right of that, so all the way over on the right side after the title, if I click on that, it'll ask me what I want to do with this. So I can share it. I can say, what is this category I'm looking at? So if I click on that, you can see all the categories right here. So you can see what safety is, what crime is, lost pets, and what each one of these means. Close out of that, go back. I can see fewer posts. So if I don't like the post like this, I can say see fewer posts like this. I can manage my notifications on this type of post. If this is a post that maybe shouldn't be posted or something like that, you can use the report post. So you can report this post if it looks like something that shouldn't be posted. And then if I just scroll down, these are just all the posts that are on my feed. So I can see like the lost pets. I can see things that have happened, people checking out people's cars, some dogs wandering the neighborhood, some lost dogs, more of that. There was a fire. So you can see all the things in the feed here. Gunshots. So pretty cool, just kind of checking out what's in the neighborhood. Sometimes if you hear things in your neighborhood, you can check your feed and see if there's something on your feed to give you information. So outside of your social media, this could be another avenue to see what's going on in your neighborhood with all your Ring neighbors going on. So you can check that out. And if you've invited your own and made your own neighborhood group, you can look at what your group is posting and what your group has going on as well. So I just love this neighborhood section. There actually is a lot of good information. Now, sometimes you can get some crazy posts and things like that, but you can go in and kind of tweak your filters and say, see less posts like this and things like that to kind of get it tuned into exactly what you're looking for as far as posts. But I really like the neighborhood section, valuable resources in here and things to use. All right, so we're going to go back to the main menu. So we're going to click on the three lines in the top left corner. So let's click on that. And then we're going to go down to history, because there's some really good information you can get out of history and use it to your advantage when you're looking for information. So I'm going to click on history. So the history section is very useful because it gives you a history of all the notifications for your different Ring devices. So as you can see, I have cameras, alarm, and lights. So all these devices give me different types of notifications. So we're going to go through each section of each one of these devices and talk about the different history items that you can look at. So right now I'm on cameras and I'm under all. So if we go right underneath cameras, you see all right there. So that's all the different notifications I get, and that's the history for all of those notifications. Now let's work from left to right, and we'll talk about those different notification histories that you can get. So we're going to start off with the little bell, and that's for our Ring doorbell. So it's going to show me a missed ring or an answered ring. So missed ring, missed ring, missed ring, answered ring. So I know you're asking me, how does it know that you answered the ring? And it uses the Ring alarm and the door sensor and door lock to know that you opened the door, and that's how it knows you answered a ring. All right, so if you look to the right of any of those notifications that you guys, you've got three little dots. If I click on those little dots, I can share. So I can share this notification. I can start, which makes it like a favorite. So I can start, or I can just delete the notification from here. And that's just the 3 little dots over to the right side of any of the notifications that you have. Click directly on it, it'll actually show me the camera footage for that motion. So if I click right on where it says motion, it's going to show me the footage for that particular moment in time. Then I can just hit this X in the top left and go back to where my notifications are in my history. So that was the Ring doorbell section and all my notifications for the Ring doorbell. Let's go over to the next one, which is motion. So the little man looks like he's running. That's motion. So I'm going to click on that. And this is going to show me any time that I have motion going on. So it's going to show me the name of the camera. So that front is the name of my camera. That's what I named my camera. So it's showing me each time I have motion on one of those cameras. It'll also show me when a person was actually detected. So my cameras that have person detection on, I can show just that notification. I can see that on the front door. Okay. So going through and I can see all my notifications there of when someone came to the house and when a person was detected. And again, if I click right on it, it'll show me that, or I can use my 3 dots to share it, star it, or delete it. So that's motion. It's going to show me all the motion for my cameras. I'm on cameras, so it's showing the history for my cameras. The next button over looks like a little play button. The next section over, it looks like a little play button. And when I click on that, that's going to show me anytime I hit the live view. So that little play button just shows me all the times I hit live view. So sometimes when you get an alert and it goes off, you're like, man, what was that? You'll click on the live view and see it. So every time you did that, it actually makes a history of that. So you can go back and see every time you click on the live view. So that's that little section right there. And then the next section over, which is the little star, that's going to be every time I put a star on something. So every time I starred something and made it a favorite, that's going to be that section right there. So that's everything under camera. So I can look at all my notifications. I can look at just the Ring doorbell, which is going to give me just the bell with all the little missed ring or answered rings. I can see the motion every time one of my cameras motion went off. I can see the live view, so every time I hit live view, or I can see when I starred something, which is like making it a favorite. All right, now let's go to the alarm section. So we're going to click on alarm now. So in the alarm section, your notification history is going to be based on the things you have hooked up to your Ring alarm, such as your motion detectors, window and door sensors, or some type of lock that's compatible with your Ring system. So as you scroll through, you'll see different motion detectors that went off, and your motion detectors, you're going to name them. These are the names of my motion detectors, so that's why you'll see the names. Yours are going to be different because you're going to name your different motion detectors. So you'll go through and you'll see that. You'll also see your window sensors, door sensors, if they were open, if they were closed. You'll see your locks to see if your locks were opened or closed. And if your alarm goes off, of course, you'll see notifications if your alarm goes off. You'll also see when your alarm, when it was armed or when it was disarmed. So you'll get to see all of that history. So you can see things like when someone, let's say it's a rental, or even your house, you can see when someone armed the alarm or when they disarmed the alarm. So you can see who's doing it because it'll say that person's name when they're doing it. So you can see when your door was locked or unlocked. So you'll be able to see that history. You'll also be able to see any motion detection going on. So you can see when certain motions were detected throughout your house with your different motion sensors. If a window was open, if a door was open, you'll be able to see all those things. So this is the history under your Ring alarm system, and it's based on those things that you have hooked up to your Ring alarm again, which could be your locks, your motion sensors, door and window sensors. So any of those things will show in this history. All right, let's move it on to lights next. Now in your lights section, you're going to have 2 different types of lights. First of all, you're going to have lights that detect motion, and then you may have lights that don't detect motion. So you'll have a history based on the lights just turning on and off, for instance. So like my outside lights, I have set to turn on and off with dusk and dawn. So you'll see alerts when they got turned on and when they got turned off. Now I also have the pathway lights, which also detect motion. So I'll be able to see when those lights detected motion and see the history for that. So your smart bulbs that don't necessarily detect motion, you'll just see when those were turned on and off. And then any light that detects motion, like just your Ring spotlight, so not the spotlight camera, just your Ring spotlight and things like that, that detect motion, you'll see when they were triggered by motion, and you'll be able to see a history for that. So those are the different types of history you'll be looking up under your ring lights. It's either going to be motion detection or when it was turned on and off. So even if you have it set to turn on and off automatically, you're still going to see that in the history. So that's it for the ring light section. If you have other ring devices that give you notifications, it could be something like the leak detector, the smoke detector, things like that. They would be under this section as well, and you can see the history for those items. But the history is a great section to go in and look up a history of all your notifications for your different ring devices, especially if you're trying to search when a certain notification went off, or you're trying to save it or send it to somebody. It's a great place to go and look at that. So that's your history section under your main menu. Very useful section. All right, so there it is, Ring App Basics Part 2, Neighbors and History. That Neighbors section giving you another source of information to find out what's going on in your neighborhood, what kind of different notifications of things that are going on in your neighborhood. You can actually go in and tweak your neighborhood and get just the information that you want in the radius that you want around your house. So you can get that. You can invite neighbors and make your own neighborhood rings and neighborhood response groups to the information that you want to see. Neighbor section, love it. And if you're trying to find a specific notification that you got on one of your ring devices, you've got the history section. So you can go through and find the different notifications from your devices that you may be looking for. So just another way that Ring brings it all together for you. The neighbors and history section, some cool tools within your Ring app to help you get the most out of that Ring system. So this is Daniil Lanier. Please like this video, share it with friends. I got more reviews, DIY, how-tos, and of course, cool motivation coming at you. This is Daniil Lanier. I'm out. Deuces.